Hi, dear students. Welcome to I-Fal. My name is Teacher Nikki, and I will be your teacher for today's lesson. So today's video, we will be talking about another grammar topic. We will be discussing the use and the forms of the simple past tense. So are you ready to start? Let's go ahead and learn more about it. So the simple past tense is generally used to talk about any completed actions in the past before now. Again, it is used to talk about any completed action before the time speaking. It can be somewhere in the far past or somewhere in the near past. So it doesn't matter, but it always answers the question when the action happened in the past. Okay? So let's talk about on how we form the sentences in the past tense. So it's very easy that you have to only remember that you have your subject and your verb in the past form. Again, subject plus verb in the past form. So one thing that you have to remember in the simple past is whatever your subject is, singular or plural, it always uses the past form of the verb. All right? So for example, I ate breakfast this morning. I visited my grandma last month. I played football last year. So all of these examples are already completed actions in the past. So note that whatever your subject is, I used the verbs in their past forms. Now let's talk about those verbs in their past forms. Forming the verbs in their past form, you have to remember two groups of verbs. Number one, we have the regular verbs. Regular verbs are just very common and simple to understand. You just have to add D or ED to form the past forms of these verbs. Let's take a look at some examples. Dance, danced. Play, played. Cook, cooked. Need, needed. And there are so many more regular verbs. Remember, when you have to add D or ED with the verbs, then we consider them as your regular verbs. Okay? Now let's go to the second group of verbs. Okay, now we have the irregular verbs. Irregular verbs are quite complicated to understand, or they are not just as simple as adding D or ED. Irregular verbs are formed when you have to change the spelling of the verb to form its past tense. We have some examples. Eat, ate. Swim, swam. Bring, brought. Buy, bought. And there's so many other verbs that we change the spelling to form the past tense. So apart from changing the spelling of the verbs to make their past forms, we also have some irregular verbs that we do not change their forms at all. So it means that their present form and their past forms are just the same. Like for example, cut, cut. Put, put. And there's so many other verbs just like that. So unfortunately, we don't have any rules on how we identify if the verb is regular or irregular. But that's one thing that you have to learn and practice. You need to know which verbs are regular verbs and irregular verbs. Okay? Let's take a look at some more examples using these verbs. So let's give some example of sentences using regular verbs. The first, I walked to school yesterday. I played volleyball last year. She visited her grandma last night. So all of these verbs are in regular forms or regular verbs because you just added be or ed with them. Now, with irregular verbs, let's have some more examples. I ate breakfast this morning. I swam in the pool last night. So these are just common examples. Now make your own. The next form that we have to understand is the negative form of the simple past tense. It is just very easy by forming the subject and add did not. Again, subject, did not, plus your verb in base form. So please remember, in the negative form, we use the verb in base form and not in its past form because we have the helping verb did. Okay? So just to make it clear, subject, did not, plus the verb in its base form. Let's have some examples. Examples for the negative form. I didn't walk to school this morning. She didn't prepare for the exam. I did not see her coming today. So that's just all for the negative forms. So let's go to the next one, which is the question form. So for the question form of the simple past tense, we start our question by using did plus your subject and then verb in its base form. Again, did plus subject and then verb in base form. Now let's have some examples. Did you walk to school? Did you see her? Did you prepare for the test? So all of these are examples of your simple past tense in question form. Now you can make your own example and practice using the question form for the simple past. There are some special considerations that you have to understand with the simple past tense. To make your sentences more effective, you have to add some time expressions with it. So we have what we call your definite time and indefinite time words. Definite time words are actually time expressions that specifically tell which time in the past it happened. Example, yesterday, last month, last year. Okay? So these are just common examples. Indefinite time expressions are those times that we don't know or we didn't know when they happened, but they're just in the past. Example, when I was kid, when I was young, before. So something like that, okay? The simple past tense is one of the tenses that is very easy to understand and use. You may practice it, you may master it, so you will be able to talk about past actions with expertise and mastery. So this is yet another grammar lesson that we have to fully understand. So don't forget to practice using your simple past tense. So if you want to know more lessons, so please subscribe to our classes and please visit our website that I will flash on the next slide. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you learned something today. Keep on practicing, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!